And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at a game called Volt. Now, Volt is a robot battle arena. Now, a robot battle arena is the kind of thing that I like about games. I like games that have robots fighting robots. That's always been something that I enjoy. This is based on the, little Robot Wars games that are on television and such, although this one they're a little bit fiercer, I think. And the ones on television often are, hand-to-hand combat somehow. These are all about ranged weapons. Let's take a look at this game, because there's a lot of robot maneuvering games. This is a program movement game, but this does something cool. I want to show you. Here's the board for the game, and actually this board is a double-sided board, and there are two boards included with the game that you can use that have different variations. There are different spots for victory points on the board, there's a spot for healing on the board, and there are holes on the board which you like to avoid. At the beginning of a round, the die is rolled, and that number that is rolled is shown. That's the spot that's worth a victory point. Each player is going to get their own little console here, and they also come with a shield that shows the color of your robot that you will hide the stuff behind your console. Players are going to get 3 dice, a red, white, and a blue die, and each turn of the game you're going to take these dice and secretly put different spots where you're going to put these dice on the board. So let's say I want to do, I might do that, and then that, and then that. Okay? Now, everyone reveals them at the same time. The red die always goes first, then the white die, then the blue die. Really easy to remember, red, white, and blue. And then the lower number goes first. So I played a red 3, but if my opponent played a red 1, he would go first. If you're tie, you'll look at your other dice that you've used, and if it's still a tie, you draw some tiles, and whoever draws the higher tile goes first. Now, when you put your dice down, they have to go in one of these spots. These are movement, these are shooting spots. You can't put more than one die in the same spot, but you can put them in any number you want. When you move, here, for example, I move 3 forward on my red die, then on my next turn, it shows that I move 2 to the right, so I would turn and go 2 this direction. And then the last one would show that I shoot 5 diagonally in that direction. And if anybody had been in that spot from me, they would have taken a point of damage. When players take a point of damage, they take one of these tokens. If you get 3 of them, you're dead, and the person who kills you get a victory point. Also, if you stop on the spot of the number that's been rolled, you will also get a victory point, and then the number is re-rolled to show which new spot on the board is worth a victory point. If you stop here in the middle, you can heal one of your hit points, and so that's a good thing. And you will keep going back and forth until one player has gotten 5 victory points, at which time that player wins. Now, if you play the advanced game, when you land in the middle spot, instead of healing a victory point, you can draw one of these. In fact, I like to draw one of them to start the game with, and they will give you a special ability. Now, for example, this gives you a buzzsaw. Whenever you bump into someone normal, you push them along with you, which could be great to push people into holes. When you fall into a hole, or when you take 3 points, you die, but you're not out of the game. You simply come on the board the next turn, but at the same time, you give someone a victory point for dying. So a buzzsaw, doing someone a damage when you hit them, is good. A nuclear core, when you are destroyed, 2 damage happens to everybody within 2 spaces of you. Here, whenever you're done moving, everyone around you takes a point of damage. Here, you get little magnet tokens. And these magnet tokens can be placed on the board and can do different things to the different players. You can drop mines on the board with some of them. You can have a gun that lets you shoot in different directions, or a gun that does 2 damage when you shoot with it, or a shield that stops you from moving, or a grenade that you can throw instead of shooting. Now, when you do shoot, the number that you put there, you say, well, why does a number matter? Because you shoot infinite distance, but a lower number goes first, so that's better than a higher number, but the higher numbers can do different things. For example, when you shoot a 6, you can push them 1 spot away. When you shoot them with a 2, you do disruption, and you can move their dice clockwise or counterclockwise, and they can move pretty far. You can rotate your dice on their weapons controls or on their movement, and it can really mess them up. But at the same time, remember, the lower dice shoot first. Anyway, the advanced game is played the exact same, other than that with the first person to 5 points getting the victory. I really enjoyed Vault. I was really impressed. The programming thing is simple yet brilliant. Using the 3 different dice, knowing the red goes first, then white, then blue, and being able to change them to any number you want. Knowing that the lower numbers go first, but the higher numbers can get you across the board, or will do cooler effects when you shoot the people. So it gives you some cool options, and there's really... I mean, the randomness in the game is, if you add in the weapons you get are random. And what spot is a victory point on the board is random. And then, of course, dealing with your opponents. But that's okay. That's controlled randomness, and that's neat. So you can try to maneuver around the board and get to the spot you want, or just go to all-out warfare. Now, this game is fun. Here's the thing. It says 2 to 4 players. 3 kind of throws things off balance a little bit because they're not all... Because one person won't have someone directly across from them at the beginning. You'll still get shot at by the other players, but you're less worried about them. And in a 2-player, even less so. I think in a 2-player, I would play with 2 robots each. With 4 players, though, the game just shines. Oh, it's tremendous, and I fully recommend using the cool weapons. And the only thing I wish there was even more. I mean, I like the double shots and the magnets and the dropping mines that blow up and the portals, and there's all sorts of cool effects that you can do, and it's something that only you can do. So the game has a lot of entertainment in that. It's really easy to teach and learn, and it's not super frustrating. Some people don't like Robo Rally because they're moving across the board and they get pushed off and they die. In this game, you'll die, probably often, but you immediately come back, and the only thing that happened was your opponent got a victory point, which you don't want, but it doesn't hurt you, it helps them. Well, it hurts you, I guess, in that it stops you from doing what you're doing, but you can come back and get your revenge. And so, just a simple thing in this box. I was just really impressed with everything in here. The quality is high. The only negative thing I'd say about the quality is I wish the robots were different molds and that the pictures on the shields were different. It would give them a little bit more of a differential feel to it. But this would be cool. I'd love to see expansions that add more modules and different robot types and stuff. But just based on its own, it looks like a family game, and it is a family game because this is a very lightweight game to play. But it handles higher strategy, and I could play this full bore with 3 other strategic gamers. So a big hit, a game you may not know much about, but certainly one you want to check out, Volt.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.
Do, do.